Well, hello everyone, and welcome to another week of Calling God. Or is it calling God? Or is it calling God? Or is it calling God? Anyway, yes, this week's God call, working with the gene key Siddhi frequencies. And this week, of course, is gene key 14, which is the city of bounteousness, or I may just say bountifulness, because I can't say bounteousness very easily, with the gift of competence and the shadow of compromise, I believe. Yes. Yeah. So even though we're focusing on the Siddhic frequency, I'm going to quickly, this video is to quickly go over some of the potential things that might come up for you this week or in the days ahead. The different levels, because the Siddhic frequency, even though you're focusing on that and generating that in your feeling body, it can bring up the shadow for healing or recognition or awareness, whatever you want to call it. And I will talk about, in fact, let's just start there. I am going to start with what does the I Ching have to say about hexagram or gene key 14. And as you, I'm sure, know, it's called possession of great measure. And I'm just like briefly going to go over all these things and trying to make these videos as short as possible. Yeah. So hexagram 14, possession in great measure. Is that right? I feel like I'm hoping it's right. Anyway, the possession that they're talking about are these three, I'm like cosmic human virtues. And those virtues are modesty, equality, and uniqueness. So if we embody and live with the sense of modesty, meaning, of course, being modest, not letting the ego aggrandize yourself and all that sort of stuff. Equality, everything in the universe has equal value, right? And then the uniqueness, recognizing your own uniqueness. And basically, this is what the whole gene key uh, topic is about: recognizing your own uniqueness and following that path. And I do want to say what the I Ching says. It says, if you follow your inner truth, you do not need to explain or defend yourself. You are doing the thing because it feels right. Okay. And conversely, you can say, if a thing if you're doing a thing just because it feels good and it feels right, and somebody asks you, why are you doing that? And you can't find a reason, then that is your thing. That thing is your inner truth because there was no ego thought ahead of time making an intention or a motivation for you doing that thing, right? So that's really a recognition of your inner truth doing this. Like, I'm doing this, I don't know, because I like it. It feels right. You can't come up with an excuse except for it feels right. That is your thing. That's your competence. Anyway, yeah, moving on. So in the gene keys, the shadow is compromise. And of course, compromise means you're compromising what feels right for you to do and be in the world, because the collective we all know this. You've taken on an image to be somebody else, blah, blah, blah. Your parents projected an image on you. Now you're the good daughter, the responsible daughter. You have all these obligations and you forget yourself, or you've given away yourself to please others. I mean, all those things, that's compromise. We've all done it. We all are doing it, and we're in the process of no longer doing it. Anyway, so we go from compromise to competence. And I was just talking to my friend about this. I was talking about, you know, this situation in the coffee house. Like, I really need to quit because the environment is so toxic. But the thing that is making it so hard for me to quit is because I actually enjoy what I'm doing and I'm really good at it. And that's the competence. Like I can, and let me, and this is what Richard says about competence. Like when you're doing that thing that you do because you just do it, it leads to material success, or as he says, radiating prosperity, or attracting um, prosperity into your life, whether that's people who support you, finances, whatever the situation is. But the four keys to material success, per Richard Rudd, is efficiency. You can do things quickly and simple solutions. It's practical, it's efficient, you're blah, blah, blah. You're enthusiastic, so it's fulfilling to you. And you're like, hey, I love doing this and I could talk about it all day long. Um, you have a flair, you do it differently. Oh, I'm going to sneeze, excuse me. And the fourth thing is flexibility, that your competent thing that you do can be applied to many different situations. So for me, I was talking to this person like, I don't want to quit because actually I'm so good at what I do. I enjoy it and I'm in a flow. And it's like, okay, I'm baking stuff and like I'm efficient. And you get into this flow of, okay, while this is baking, I could take this out, put this in, I can go to the drive-through, and then I can go upstairs and listen for DoorDash. I'm like doing all these things, and it's like flow, 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 until the car crash happens when the environment changes because somebody doesn't trust you and is trying to micromanage you and blah, blah, blah. Anyway, yeah, so I was just talking about competence. So maybe I grounded bounteousness already. I don't know. No, I have. Anyway, so that's that. Now, on to the city of bounteousness. And when I talk about my experiences with these Siddhic frequencies, that I just know that I know that I am like my little toe pinky is just like on the edge of experiencing or knowing. Experiencing is the wrong word, but recognizing, embodying these frequencies. Okay, but I'm sharing my personal experience with how these frequencies are showing up in my life. So, Richard, and by the way, did you do your activation? I did my activation yesterday, and I did notice that, bounteousness. I wonder if they planned it this way to have Thanksgiving around the gene key of or anyway, around Thanksgiving. Anyway, no, I'm being silly, and immediately my lower mind was like, oh, there's bounteousness everywhere. I mean, look at all this. I'm so lucky. I'm so grateful. But then I woke up with like being in the Siddhic frequency. It's still here. It's fabulous. But here's how Richard talks about it, and I recognize what he's saying. At the Siddhic frequency, it it is a highly grounded frequency, embodied, like most of these cities are, but some cities are very transcendent, right? But this one, once again, is very grounded frequency. And it drives, you can begin feeling driving the ego out, driving the ego out at at its most, oh, what is the word? Primary, I'm not getting the right word, but to the point where it's at the genetic level, where it's taking all the ancestral DNA compromises in you, and it's burning itself out. And I don't know what video I shared this, but I know exactly what he's talking about, because I have been recognizing, the ego has been recognizing, needs to go, and it needs to be driven out and released. And so I can feel that Siddhic frequency coming in and driving the ego out. And it's so funny that this week, once again, I am diving deep into uh, mutations in my own genetic coding that are causing illnesses. And so I'm even at that point where, at tiny little way, that I am driving out or at a material level trying to correct these genetic mutations that I am carrying, I guess I would suspect, for my lineage or fractal or whatever you want to call it. So that totally tracks with me, Richard. We're right there. um, yeah, and he talks about that at this level in this gene key, that the Siddhic frequency is like the highest also becomes the lowest. And he means lowest like the single cell amoeba or the eukaryote, which is like a single celled, one little cell that has no awareness but has consciousness. And I was so, and he says at this level of the Siddhic frequency, awareness is not there. Awareness doesn't function like it used to. Um, yeah, awareness, no normal functioning of awareness. And that at this level, awareness needs an outside stimulus to activate it. And I cannot tell you what a relief that has been for me, because this, like, for the last, I don't know, 6 months to a year, maybe longer, I've been like, I must be still so asleep, or what's wrong with this awakening, because I could tell my awareness wasn't there like it was before. Like I was like, I felt like I was unconscious doing all these things, but no, that's not it at all. It's because, and I mean, duh, you know this, but you kind of see things from different vantage points, and you, even though it's the same thing, but you see it from a different perspective, and then you need another aha to settle it in, because the mind rejects this whole idea of awakening and your true self. Anyway, so yeah, when you're like in the flow, well, at this, the subject and the object relationship has ended. So there's no one here to be aware of itself, right? And so you're doing. There's no awareness. It's not needed because there's no doer here anymore. And it is only when there's a stimulus that, another person talking to you or a trigger, and that pull, and then you're like, okay, ooh, there's still a person here, quote unquote person, and it's creating a separation. So yeah, get that. It's really fascinating. Thank you, Richard, for these beautiful, yeah, awarenesses. Um, but also it's like the eukaryote or single cell amoeba, because if there's no one here, then there's just one consciousness, right? Just like the single celled. It's just one single cell functioning here, right? There would be no other to have awareness of it. Okay. Um, what else do I want to say? Yeah. So when I woke up today, this is how I am experiencing or not experiencing bounteousness. And it is, hmm, it's the emptiness that it's the nothingness. This is prior to consciousness that I am. I don't know how to say this, but what it is experiencing through this vehicle is I look out and I can feel it in a sensorial way. Everything is flowing out of that which I truly am. It's kind of like, that picture at Thanksgiving of that like basket, and all the fruits and everything are tumbling out of it. It's like bounteousness. That's the feeling I have been experiencing all morning. I'm resting in potential, non existence, the space where nothing has been created, And at the same time, I feel the entire creation coming out of me. I don't know how to explain it, but that's the best I can do. And it's so full. It's the emptiness experiencing the fullness of everything and feeling the oneness of it. Yeah. So so there you go. Happy Thanksgiving. You know, what else did I want to say? Yeah. So do you want to look at the numbers? Because the numbers are so per anyway, this bounteousness is about the individual, which is ultimately not the individual, but tapping into its own creative abundance, its own creative power, its own connection to that potential, that etheric level of creative potential. Okay. So I'm going to show you the numbers. I know you can click off now. I'm not going to do an activation. um, just so you can see, what do the numbers say about bounteousness? It's so simple. There you go. We're going to do this quickly. So the foundation of bounteousness is number 6. And that means in order to even just to begin to experience this creative bounteousness, bountifulness, you have got to have a connection to spirit. That's number 6. When you have a connection to spirit, well, then the 6 turns into an 8, and you have a reciprocal connection with pure spirit. And of course, like the symbol says, you are the single celled amoeba. There's only one here. And the success is this number 5, which is 5 is when you're looking at the tree of life, where these number systems come from, it is at the top. 5 and 6 are at the top of the tree. These are high etheric energies. And the 5 is the highest etheric plane, that cosmic fire plane of potential. So you connect to spirit, you embody it, you ground it into your body, and you have this connection. And what you tap into is that creative, I'm going to stop share, bountiful, high etheric field of all these potential, that's the abstract world. Nothing is it has come together to form something. It's all potential. And it yeah, and the 5 is called the what is it, the window or something? Yeah, the window to creation. It's beautiful. So yeah, that's my interpretation of gene key 14, the Siddhic frequency of bounteousness. And I hope you all have a wonderful couple of days and week experiencing this Siddhic frequency. Until next time.